Hello and welcome to this very enthusiastic episode of First Geek 411. I'm your host, Cameron Franklin, and joining me for episode 175, what did I say last time? The Montana Mountain Man, Chris Nicolay. How you doing today?
Hello, and I'm good. And that is a very fitting introduction this week because I did see bears this weekend.
Bear attack?
No, I rode one.
I mean, that's what the Bible says, is
right.
that
dominion.
We have dominion over all of God's creation. So I'm pretty sure that's what it's that
very
means.
feasible. Very feasible.
So, no way that was a misinterpretation.
You see some wildlife and you say dominion, and they have to obey you.
They just have to.
They have to. They have to do what you say. Can someone tell my cat that?
I was gonna say I need to try that on my dog.
Yes.
Dominion.
Make eye contact and
you have to believe it though. That's the only way it works.
And that other voice is the Hoot and Howl, Shanine Thompson. How you doing today?
Good.
I feel like I always struggle to come up with nicknames, and then sometimes like the old standby of like your Twitter handle. Like sometimes that's the easiest way to do it.
Part of it is that we're like, oh, we're creative enough, we can do it on the fly.
Yeah.
And then we're in the middle of the introduction. And joining me,
Yep.
that
Reminds me of when you tried to do wrong answers only to Shanine and Emma's get to know you questions.
Oh, that's a throwback.
Yeah. Speaking of throwbacks, we got I don't know where we're going with that. We got more Windows news. We got Critical Role, and then we've got wrap up with our top 3 characters that would make great boat captains. As always, listeners, let us know what your top 3 ideas are and your ideas for the answers to the top 3s over on our social media, OneGeek411 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can also join our Discord server if you want to chat between shows. And you can send us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. You can check out our website, onegeek411.com. You can watch live on Twitch, 6:45 Mountain Time, be part of the post-show chats. And then you can find our videos over on YouTube. At the time that you are hearing this, if you are on YouTube, hopefully Faithful Hedrons Season 4 or Episode 4 is live. Crossing our fingers. And then you can also rate and subscribe wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. You can also check out our Redbubble store if you want to get any of that merch.
What's going to happen, since we didn't have any technical difficulties on like Shanine's end or anything for the actual session 4, Cameron's going to have all the technical difficulties getting it uploaded.
Oh no.
Don't wish that on me. The number of times that I've had like YouTube issues with the upload.
It's always the upload because
it is.
I
don't know why it I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't know how technology works. Let's get into what we have been up to this past week. Chris, why don't you start us off?
So we are in the final days of the spring season of anime. So I've been watching a lot of finales and trying to start up some of the ones I haven't started yet so I can start that. But definitely my biggest recommendations are those Snow White Notes. Phenomenal. Burning Comedy is really good. I'm excited. And Farewell Kramer. And Tokyo Revengers is actually really good. Although I don't I need more, and I don't think Tokyo gets a season 2. And so I'm like, I don't know. I need to know more. Darn animes sometimes. I finished watching Trace, which I mentioned last week, which is a Filipino anime based on comics from the Philippines. And I also watched a little, like, they're doing kind of what Disney's been doing, giving like a little documentary about it. With like some of the cast, the creators and things like that. And it was really good. And didn't realize this is like a big international endeavor. So like the animation studio itself is like out of like South Korea. Obviously the comics are out of the Philippines, and then like a lot of the development team and everything is out of the US, and there's like Filipinos on every team, and it was super cool. Representation is big. And so we had like the Filipino voice actor, we had some little clips. The American voice actor couldn't be there, but it's cool like listening to them talk about like how they made their decisions and things like that. And yeah, but I can't recommend Trece enough. It's just so cool to see something this big kind of come out of the Philippines for one. Another thing, thanks to Cameron, I ordered a PS5.
You're welcome.
Had an inside man.
That inside man was the GameStop email that went out to literally everyone.
Yeah, but
I pointed the email out to you.
It was so seamless that I didn't like. I was like, I felt empty afterwards, and I mentioned this to Cameron because the ordering process was so seamless this time that I was like, well, I just got way overhyped for the opportunity to get this, and it was not a big deal. It just happened, and I was like, oh, okay. So now I just gotta wait for the PS5 to fill that void. As we are recording this, Prime Days is also happening. So I am working on ordering some updated things. I ordered 2 new monitors. Should be here this weekend. Excited about that. And some other stuff. But
What are you going to play first on your shiny new PS5?
I don't know. Final Fantasy 7 probably.
I need to pick up Intergrade.
Right. I gotta play Yuffie. Yuffie is. I'm so excited for Yuffie so much. Like Yuffie is just one of my favorite characters because for one, like one thing about Final Fantasy 7, she's not a proposed love interest to Cloud, which makes her character that much better, and she just provides this great comedic value of like this Ronin that's kind of like just trying to steal materia, and like this kind of like, Yuffie, did you do it again? kind of situation. And this weird back and forth between her and the party. There we go. Okay. It's something that we have to work on. Where was I?
Yuffie.
Yuffie. Just A+ character, also unique weapons, and just I can't wait for her. But I'm also like, I'm really intrigued about Ratchet and Clank since I bought that in the bundle. So my bundle came with 3 games: Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Destruction All-Stars. Is that what that one is?
I think so.
The arena fighter game thing. I don't know. I don't know much about that game.
You don't need to know much.
I'm assuming it's button mash potential, which is all I care about. But yeah, and then I have a $40 GameStop gift certificate to find another game. But yeah, definitely gotta read because I gotta see Final Fantasy 7 in that 4K wonder, in all its 4K glory. That's the main reason why I want a PS5. I wanted it since they announced it's like, well, I'm not getting a PS4 Pro to play it in 4K. I'll wait, and I finally get to do it. But yeah. But for those who are listening, obviously Prime Days are probably over by the time you're listening to this if you're not live. But let us know what you got for Prime Days, if there's any great deals that you got. Because there were some really good ones, for sure, at the start.
Shanine, what have you been up to?
Okay. I did finish reading our book for book club. I feel like I always
Ahead
say
of
it
schedule.
wrong. Yeah, I finished it on Sunday. Yeah, Not All Who Wander Spiritually Are Lost by Tracy Rhodes. It was good. I'm excited to talk about it.
You didn't say that right.
Yes, I did. It's right there. I read it.
I know, but you can't read it straight across. There's punctuation in there. Spiritually is in parentheses. You gotta go. Not all who wander spiritually are lost. No, I'm just.
I said what I said.
Said what I said.
I said what I said.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it, and I'm super excited to talk with Tracy
On
next
Monday.
Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Teaser. You announced that well before announcements, Janine. We got a structure and we got to stick to it.
I do what I want.
I'll do what I want.
Touche.
We got season 2 of What We Do in the Shadows from the library, and it was just as good as season 1, which was just as good as the movie. I just love it. What are you making faces?
I'm arguable.
I don't know.
Don't get me wrong. The seasons have been great. But that movie,
The
movie
movie's
is just
fantastic.
movie is just
I just super enjoy the vampire hunter aspect of the story. It's hilarious.
yeah, the series there's just a certain charm that didn't translate into the series that I'm like, it's like the humor's all still there. It's just the movie just, I don't know. There's just a certain tone in that movie that I can't get over. I can watch that movie so many times.
Yeah, we're still really enjoying the series though. They're too short.
Yeah, maybe that's why it doesn't like need longer episodes just to get that tonal throughout the entire episode. Maybe, I don't know.
Could be.
And maybe it's that Taika's not in the series.
True. And there was a cameo by Mark Hamill, and I once again did not recognize him. My husband was like, "You know who that is, right?" And
He's
I
a
was
sneaky
like,
one.
"I was like, no, it's not." And then I looked at him and I was like, "I'm so mad right now."
Stop it.
Like,
Why
I
do you
knew
do
it was
this to me?
Mark Hamill by my husband asking before I knew it by watching him on the screen, and I just
Mark Hamill's
every
just a
time.
chameleon. He just blends into whatever he's in that you don't like. You can't pick him up. He is that character.
I know. It's baffling. And we finished playing Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, and then found out there was a bonus extra chapter. So we're not done playing
Not
Phoenix
just
Wright
kidding.
Ace Attorney.
Not done.
I want to get into those games so bad
They're so fun.
and like watch the anime supplements along with them and everything.
Oh man, there's like a live action musical.
What?
Oh my. That seems either amazing or awful, and possibly both.
We haven't watched it yet, but I want to.
I'm intrigued. What? How did I not know
think-
this?
I don't know.
Be still my heart. Does that mean you're gonna get the new Ace Attorney when it comes out? Because it looks good too. Like I'm
I would
intrigued
like
by
to.
I'm intrigued by the gameplay for the new one, which was an E3 announcement last week. Everyone, just throwing that out there that we didn't get to talk about last week because it's part of Nintendo.
Yep. They just had to go the day after we record.
Yeah, E3 get on our schedule.
For me, we did a good chunk of stream watching. We watched In the Heights on HBO Max. I think the best take that I saw was from Imran Khan, and he basically said, "In the Heights is really long."
Oh,
Is it?
And
Really
I was
long?
like, "Yep." I'll say, like, I think unlike most musicals, the second half is better. I feel like typically in musicals, and granted, this is like a movie adaptation. It's not like a stage play of it, compared to like what Hamilton was. But I'll say the first hour of it was possibly the longest hour I've ever spent watching something. And that includes the Snyder Cut. Like, it was a long, like 55 minutes. And the second half, like, and not necessarily that it was bad, it just took a long time to get going. And yeah, and I'll also though say I couldn't tell you any of the songs. It was one of those that I was like, oh, there's a reason that.
Does one go in the heights?
Yep, basically. You got it. And yeah, there's a reason that like I think he'll be remembered for Hamilton rather than In the Heights. Although this did get me excited for what a like movie version of Hamilton could look like. Obviously, like this is a bit more whimsical than Hamilton, but there were some really cool like camera shots and there were some cool sets and stuff like that. But yeah, musically wasn't as all there as I would like. Then we also watched Luca, the latest Disney Pixar that for some reason is free on Disney Plus when they were charging for things like Cruella. But here we are. So I liked it a lot. Set in Italy.
They're like, it's a Pixar thing more so. So
I don't know.
Just put it up there.
Yeah. Like, I mean, quality wise, I would have paid for this one over Cruella. Like, granted, we went and saw Cruella in theater, but like, but I really enjoyed it. It was very cute. Good lessons on like accepting others and kind of what makes people. And so not the most heart-wrenching Pixar movie out there, but like it didn't hit us as hard as the other ones. But and then this past Sunday, so I guess yesterday, we went to Arcade 92, which is a barcade in Dallas, and that was awesome. Being vaccinated is great. And so we got to play a bunch of retro and modern games. They had a Star Wars The Mandalorian pinball table. That was really cool. It had like a baby Yoda in the corner and stuff like that.
Is this the barcade that we didn't get a chance to go to when I visited you last?
No, this one wasn't open then.
Oh, okay. This is a new one. Okay.
Yeah, this is a newer one. They opened not like right before COVID started, but pretty close to before. It's probably like 6 months or so before.
It's rough.
Something like that. And then maybe the most exciting for me is I got to guest on The Christian Nerd with Scott Higa.
The Christian Nerd?
Not just a Christian nerd. The definite Christian nerd. And we talked about E3. We talked about changes in like gaming and faith as you grow up and things like that. It was a great conversation. That is out on podcast services, I think everywhere. And so you can go give that a listen to wherever you are, or wherever it is that you listen to your podcasts. Also, I hit like top 700, or I guess technically top 800 in Magic the Gathering Arena. So that was hype. And then lost a game and lost 600 ranks. So that was rough. So, but here we are.
So like my confusion right now is like, because I'm like, wait, didn't you do all of this last week? But then I realized we had DND and we talked.
Yeah, we talked
about
it
before. Yeah, we talked on Saturday. I'm like, it's like this feels strangely familiar, Cameron.
Yeah. I did get back up to like top 900 or something today, and like this morning before work. So I'm sure I'm back down again. You just kind of ping pong at that point. So it is what it is. But that brings us into our discussion topics for this week. Chris, why don't you start us off?
So just my one piece this week is once again dongle news. It's 3 weeks in a row we got to do that. This feels good. But this last week, once again, moving back to Windows and their event happening this week. But last week there was a leak of what should be the new operating system, potentially Windows 11, named to TBD. But it reveals a whole new user interface, start menu, and a few other things. It's kind of looking like the mobile version of Windows 10 or Windows 10X, kind of a lot of those features. So my theory is ultimately that with new changes, new devices, and everything, that while Windows was hoping Windows 10 would just get random updates. A lot of the things they've tried, they just had to integrate, and by then it was a whole new operating system that would be brand new, so they just have to market a new one. But I'm kind of excited for this. It looks a lot cleaner than Windows 10 currently does. It kind of has some more of those kind of Android-esque features that I'm fond of. But we'll obviously know more. But yeah, the actual operating system, like a beta version of it, has leaked. So there are a lot of people who are able to get these things installed and play with it. But it'll definitely be interesting to see what we actually get revealed, and with a launch date. Obviously, we know when Windows 10 is. I don't know. Are you guys ready for a new Windows operating system?
I don't know. I feel pretty indifferent as far as things go. Like,
I'm ready.
as long as I get a free upgrade, it doesn't really matter to me.
Depending on how hard they push it, because like when Windows 10 came out, they obviously did that big push. Everyone needs to upgrade from if you're still running Windows 7, upgrade please, and they're like free keys for if you do it, and all of that. I'm not sure if this will further emphasize Windows as a service, if they do a lot of that free upgrade, because that's something that's one reason why they're doing it, and hopefully that makes the transition a lot easier. But yeah, you're going to have another 4 years. Windows 10 support ends in 2025, as I previously mentioned. But yeah, so June 24th, so this Thursday. So for those who are listening live, or it's happened if you're listening afterwards, we'll probably be talking about it again next week because the event will have happened. I also wonder what this means for like developers. Like, because with Windows 10, they really pushed the developer features, and that's their annual show they always did, were potential developer pieces. And also, what new devices Windows itself will develop because of the OS. That's something they've been doing to kind of showcase the capability of their software.
In chat, the best, I guess, Squishy says Windows 11, the worst Linux. And I Googled and like just kind of like looking through pictures. I'm like, I can't wait to turn off all of these widgets. Like there's like the like scrolling news things and all of that. That's in one of the shots. I'm just like, oh, we're getting rid of all of this. Like,
my biggest thing is like I'm okay with those things, like when you can like pull them out and like put them away, because I use on the Android, I use that news feature a lot because it's actually really catered to me. But I'll only use it if I get to pick the service it pulls from, because if it's trying to make me use Bing again,
stop trying to make Bing happen.
Yeah, stop trying to make Bing happen. Also, I wonder how like integrated Edge is going to be. Granted, Edge is just a modified version of Chrome anymore, but still.
I can't wait to use Edge to download Chrome.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, it just depends on like the customizability of those things. Like, are like, is Windows Assistant even still a thing? Is Cortana still a thing?
I think so. Yes, I have a Talk to Cortana button on my desktop.
If they just make that customizable so you can use like Google, or if you are an Amazon person, use Alexa, I'll be very pro this update or this change. But yeah, but also, yeah, very much looks like Linux. Like, if it has the customizability of Linux, we're set. Software nerds. Thank you, the best cushy. The best cushy. I don't know. What are we? Love the name.
Shanine, what do you got for us today?
Okay. On Thursday, Critical Role the Critical Role campaign Exandria Unlimited will be starting. It is an 8-episode mini campaign, and GMing will be Abria Iyengar, and the players will be Amy Carrero, Robbie Damon, Ashley Johnson, Liam O'Brien, and the legend himself, Matthew Mercer.
I am so hyped for this.
I'm really excited to see Matt play.
Yes.
Well, if you want to see him play, you could also, because he is in one of the campaigns for Dimension 20. He does play a character. But yeah, I'm excited to see him play in an Exandria role specifically. I'm excited to see another DM in this, and I'm also excited for the shorter form.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Just 8 episodes.
Yes. I have not previously watched or listened to any Critical Role. I've always wanted to, but there is a lot.
There's a lot.
Yes.
So I'm really excited for this. 8 episodes. I can keep up with that.
From a marketing perspective, this is also really good because you have 2 super long campaigns. So you use this third one to suck people back in. So now they have to go back through and watch your backlog for the next 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping this will be a good entry point. I do want to watch all of it or listen or whatever eventually, but there's a lot of it.
I do like that they do the podcast. They do skim it down and everything, cut out a lot. And so it's a little more consumable.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But this will be good too. Question is, because most of their sessions are 4 or 5 hours, sometimes 6.
Except for their finale that was 7.5 or whatever.
Right. We had to break it in 2 parts. Will these be a set time as well, or are they going to follow their standard format for just 8 sessions? We don't know yet. I'm just asking questions here. I don't expect you to have the answers. I'm just proposing things to consider.
So do you think you will watch this campaign?
That's a yes for me, dog.
I think I will. We'll see if I keep with that. My issue with Critical Role has always been once you fall behind, it's extremely time consuming to catch up. And so we'll see. And that might even come down to what Chris's last question was of if these are going to be normal size chunks for them, maybe, but if every episode is going to be 5-6 hours, no. But I think some of it too, for me, I've always struggled with Critical Role. I've watched all of campaign 1. I watched that while playing a very mindless video game. And so I kind of just had that on and was it was an easy thing to pay attention to. And then I tried to do the podcasts for season 2, and it just wasn't the same, not being able to see them. There's so many of the in jokes and things that go on is their actual, what are they doing on screen? And so it's the type of show that it's I love and I would love to watch. And that's just the time commitment of it. So hopefully, but we'll see.
Can I also just say, from their website, we need to get cast photos like these.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to be in leather.
Next time we meet up. By next time, I mean the first time we meet up.
Yeah. We're all going shopping.
Okay, and who would be on your dream celebrity D&D lineup?
Okay. I'm definitely not saying I spent more time thinking about this than I did our top 3, but I spent more time thinking about this than I did our top 3. And I promise I had this written before we literally talked about one of the people in the show. And so DM, Mark Hamill, And then players: Chris Sabat, Billy Piper, Emma Stone, Samuel L. Jackson, and then Dwayne, future president, The Rock Johnson.
That's good. I would watch that.
Yeah. I think it would be outrageous. Part of this really came from the fact that I want to see Samuel L. Jackson, Dwayne, and Chris Sabat all in one place. And then I would really like to see like Billy and Emma trying to like upstage them because I think they would come up with like outrageous things to do. And so, yeah. So that's what I got.
I don't have anything so specific. I think you definitely got to get Dante Basco in there. I think he'd be great. Just because he like is an actual nerd too. Vin Diesel. And we've actually seen him play obviously with the critical role with was the Witch Hunter or whatever. Who else? Is it Henry Cavill? Yeah, he's actually a nerd too. He spends his time reading comics and everything. I think gotta get him in there somehow. And then someone like maybe. Oh man. Let's have a DMB like Ian McClellan.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a hard one. I'd play with like all the celebrities that have actually like I mean at this point because of the Friendship Onion, you also got to get, Billy Boyd and I never know how to say it. Sean McConaughey. Because I always want to start saying McConaughey, and I'm like, that's not right.
Shanine, who are your celebrities?
Yeah, I was gonna say Elijah Wood is also a super huge nerd. He'd be fun.
I'm just gonna play D&D with the Lord of the Rings cast. Boom.
My number one pick is Deborah Ann Wall.
Mm-hmm.
As long as she's playing, I don't care who else is playing.
I figured she would be on your list.
Yep. 100%. I love her.
Yeah, she's awesome.
More relics and rarities, please.
Like, if they don't have to be, like, big, I'd also like to play with Hank Green.
Yes.
Maybe he should be the DM, actually. Oh, and it's Colbert. You got to get Colbert in there somewhere. He did such a good job with the Red Nose Day. Oh. It'd just be the biggest D&D campaign ever. If it was up to me, it'd just be...
I also enjoy, I always forget how to say his name. Manganiello? How do you say it?
Oh,
Very big and muscly. John
Manganiello?
Yeah.
Joe Manganiello? I don't know. It's a hard one.
Oh, okay. Yes, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Could also do like like all the celebrities that were in that episode of The Big Bang Theory where there's the secret D&D campaign going on with Joss Whedon. Or Wheaton. Maybe you guys haven't seen that episode, but like it was Joe. It was what's his face just turned 90. There's just several big stars that were that had cameos in that one, and they were playing a secret D&D game that all the guys tried to get into because they were playing with Captain Kirk.
So for me this week, we have been getting set photos for various things. And we recently got a teaser for the Supergirl costume for the Flash movie. And then like the next day, a bunch of set photos. I don't know if leaked is the right word. Like you're in a public place, people are going to take pictures. But we got a bunch of pictures of Sasha Calle's Supergirl. And as well as Ezra Miller and was it Kersey Clemens on set in London. And so with that, did y'all have a chance to see these photos? And then on a scale of DCEU to MCU, which is obviously bad to good, how excited are you for the upcoming Flash movie?
Still pretty low on the DCU. I'm probably more excited with these pieces than the actual Flash portion of the movie. You know, if I can just find the clips of their parts on YouTube, I'll probably just do that.
Yeah, this is sitting at a solid DCU for me.
So for me, this is in the like I want to believe, because like,
but we've been.
I mean, I know nothing really about DC Comics, but like, I just know Flashpoint is like one of those very beloved like arcs, and the part of me that also loves the Phoenix Saga would like for a beloved arc to actually be told well on the big screen. Looking at you, all of the X-Men movies ever, and how you've ruined everything. And I really hope this is good. I guess maybe that's where I'm at. I like the new Supergirl costume. Like I'm curious to see what it'll look like once I assume we're getting a cape in post and things like that. And so I'm definitely very curious about what that's gonna be. And yeah. Again, I hope I want to believe.
We hope so hard sometimes.
Yes.
But it's so hard.
I don't know. I'm already not a fan of the new costume personally. And I don't know. Nothing that I'm seeing is exciting to me. The costume, it just looks like a literal onesie. And why are her abs so pointy?
Because she's
Are your abs not that pointy?
No one's abs are that pointy.
Kryptonians are, apparently.
No, it looks weird.
Yeah, it is definitely strange. There are some choices there.
Part of it might also be that, like, it might be part of, like, they did that for structural reasons for the harnesses and might end up getting edited out in post. Things like that can happen, but I don't know. Yeah, it's
So kind of with this, Deanna and I've had this ongoing conversation. And I think this is another prime example. It was one of those coincidentally, we had the conversation right before this happened with these photos. One of the things that we talk a lot about is how it's so weird how like culturally we are so like plugged into the goings on, one of those of movies and like what's happening on set, what's in the pipeline. And so kind of with all of that, how do you feel about like all of this information being like so much public knowledge compared to the like looking back at our childhoods where it was like you showed up at the movie theater and you watched the previews for the other movies that you were going to go see, like that kind of thing. That was like when you found out. And kind of out of that, do you wish there was more secrecy?
I think so. I mean, one thing that you would have to also consider is that production timeframes were shorter, and there's typically more one-offs. of things. So you got excited because there was a single trailer. Whereas like when you're trying to build off like a universe, so like with the MCU, you have to keep that interest, which is one reason why we know more, like for those long standing pieces. So like, and that's something that DC would probably be trying to do here, where it's like, we're going to grab you and then we have to keep you updated because our production time frame is years, not a year or anything like that. But they also have to be able to show like, and also for like the studio side of things, for you to get the funding to begin with, you have to show that there's continual interest as well. And I think that's part of why they have to do things like this now too. But I mean, for certain things, definitely more secrecy. Like, I wish I didn't know Amazon was coming out with a Lord of the Rings series. And I wish I didn't know about some of their hiring choices. But, you know, I do. And it's going to be a wait.
I don't know. I kind of can see both sides of it. Like, one, it's kind of just fun to like follow along and like see what's happening and like behind the scenes and stuff. But on the other hand, you get a chance to form an opinion before you see a finished product. Like, I'm definitely making judgments on the Flash movie based on the Supergirl costume. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's so crazy, and I think it all, like, I mean, for both of those, it kind of all ties into itself. Is it's like production cycles are so much longer, so they know this stuff's going to leak. So if you know it's going to leak, you might as well announce it and use it as a PR beat. And then that means that then now you need to then continue to do things to keep attention on your film or on your show. And then you get to keep doing that. Like we see that with like Knives Out, where it's like, who isn't in Knives Out too? Like that kind of thing. They just keep on having now granted, I'm super excited for all the people that they've announced that are going to be in that movie, but like you get the point. And it kind of just keeps going and going. And it kind of even gets me to think of like the YouTube channels and all the reacts and all of the 70 Easter eggs that you missed in Loki episode 2, that kind of thing. When you have so many eyes on something and it's so easy to communicate. I think there's so many things in like older movies that were like these super hidden and great references. And then now it's just, there's so many eyes on it.
It's common knowledge now.
Yeah. It becomes the information disseminates so much quicker. Which isn't necessarily a problem, but I think it definitely, again, it keeps everything going and it keeps all that, I don't know, in the forefront, which is not inherently bad, but is what it is. It kind of makes me think of like the general like struggle of social media, where it's the like a lot of social media is not great, but then to find the good places, such as geeky Christian Twitter, you have to then wade through all the bad places to get there, like that kind of thing. And like that's kind of a struggle in itself. But
can I also just say I hate like YouTube reactions to like trailers and things, because they're because it's a YouTube video. For one, it's a YouTuber, so there's only 2 levels: absolute disgust and too much hype.
Right. I mean, it's the common criticism that you see of reviews in general.
Right.
Is it's at most reviews, and like you see this leveled at IGN a lot, of most of their reviews are a 7 through 9 or a like 3 or 4. Like it's one of those. Those are really their like 5 ratings that they do often. And it's like, well, that's how most people will rate things. Like most people won't give something a 1. And most people won't give something a 100, but they'll kind of fall into those clumps.
Yep.
And so, and again, the reacts, it's kind of,
there's never going to be, but I feel like they go like the reacts. It's just like, especially, well, more so their reactions, like, oh, they have to get up and run around. I'm like, I have never seen a trailer that made me get up and have to run around.
E3 2015. We're on a beach, and a Keyblade washes ashore.
You got up and ran around?
No, I don't even actually know if that was the year that happened.
I don't. Keyblade washes up on shore. But no Buster Sword because there was no Final Fantasy characters in that game.
That trailer was still like 6 years before Kingdom Hearts 3 even came
I know,
out.
that's
so
very-
like,
so
you
true.
know. Like,
But like, yeah, I mean, like, I'll get hyped, but it's just like one of those things where like, it's like, it is a show to watch them react to these things, which is fine. That's their thing, but it doesn't give an accurate presentation of the actual event.
listeners, I did not say this earlier, but hit us up with your celebrity D&D lineups. Hit us up with how you feel about the lack of secrecy in films and TV. And you can always do that. Social medias, all those places. So let's get into our announcements and then into our top 3. We have some streams going on this week, and hopefully more than one person is able to stream this week.
Neen's been killing it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Speaking of which, I got votes for what game to play, and
It's more Pokemon Snap, isn't it?
Concrete Genie and King's Quest were tied, and Pokemon Snap won by 1 vote.
1 vote. That's what I get for not voting as the podcast also.
You can't vote. Cameron trying to tilt.
No,
I voted King's
like,
Quest though, so
I mean, I'm not saying I have done that, but I'm saying it sure would have been a coincidence if someone voted multiple times for our Great Commander Showdown 2-headed giant for the first Geek 411 co-hosts to be together.
touche. That's different
I'm
though.
not,
That's
not saying
different.
it happened.
Well, that's different because there's a consensus on how the podcast should vote. In this case, we are on opposite ends, Cameron.
Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna do at least 1 more week of Pokemon Snap, and then I'll just make an executive decision after that. So Tuesday, Pokemon Snap.
And I will be returning to Sanctuary Wednesday for sure this time. Wednesday about 6:30ish to 7, somewhere in there. We'll see. But I will be home in time this time for sure.
And then I forgot to ask Emma if she's planning to stream before book club, but Thursday, Emma might be streaming. And then Thursday night, 6:45 Mountain Time, we'll be back here with Not All Who Spiritually Who Wander Spiritually. I was so focused on the joke, I messed up the title. Not All Who Wander Spiritually Are Lost, A Story of Church by Tracy Rhodes.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah. If I've learned anything about delivering jokes, is that if you mess up, just go back to the beginning of the joke and just say the whole thing over again. And it works every time.
It always works in post too, like if we
Yeah.
need to, but we never do. So
Yeah. We could easily just edit things. But
it's not that easily. It's a time commitment, and none of us got time for that.
And then hopefully Sunday, I'll be back with God of War. Again, just got to get out of the section. Gotta believe. And so that brings us into our top 3 for this week. We are talking characters that would make great boat captains. Similar to last week, sure is difficult to think of people that are not actually captains. And here we are. So, Shanine, why don't you start us off?
Okay. Nobody take any of mine because I have no backups.
I have no backups as well.
Okay. My first one is Rory from Doctor Who.
I thought you were gonna say Gilmore Girls. I was like,
No. No, I don't think that. He was waiting for Amy for 2,000 years, and that's a lot of time to learn new skills. could have become a great boat captain in that time.
If only. Chris, what's your number one?
Well, it's not my number one, but my first one is Watson. I feel like he'd make a great boat captain.
Mm-hmm.
Better than Sherlock for sure.
Also, shout out to Watson's wife.
And
Mrs.
he's
Watson
already
is the
he's
MVP.
already used to always being separated from his wife. So put him on a boat. I mean, it's no different than his normal lifestyle.
My number one is Hermione Granger. I feel like she's the type of person you could just, plop down a book in front of her on how boats work. And end of the day, you'd have a great captain.
I feel like she probably already knows how boats work. Like, I don't think she has to actually study it. It's like it's something that she's already come across in passing. And she's like, I got this.
Gotta believe. Shanine, who's your number two? Great boat captain.
My number two is Dory from Finding Nemo. She's really great at long journeys. She's not afraid to admit when she's made mistakes or gotten lost. Is really great at asking for directions. And as a bonus, you'd get the real treasure in the journey and all the friends
we made along
that
the
she
way.
made along the way.
I feel like admitting your faults and asking for directions are not good traits in a captain.
You don't want the captain to get lost and then not admit it and not ask for help.
I mean,
That's how you get mutinied.
But I kind of want a mutiny.
Everybody, riot.
He's lost and won't admit it. But then he admits it, and then you get a mutiny anyway. Right?
I don't know if is that how the pirate code works?
Pretty typically, yeah. You admit that you're wrong, you don't know what you're doing. They're
We
like,
didn't
well,
say
then
these were pirate ships.
Touche.
touche. That's the problem. Like this, like where my head goes when it comes to captain is the pirate code, partially.
Yeah, see, if we're having
This
mutinies,
is-
I just assume we're on a pirate ship. Or it's
This is
about to
just-
become a pirate ship. One of those.
Just a pleasure cruise.
Just a 3-hour cruise.
Yeah. Give or take.
Give or take. Chris, what is your second choice?
My second choice is, and none of you two aren't going to get this because, but I'm hoping, I'm throwing these things out there to see if maybe you'll go and watch it. Is Daichi Sawamura, who is the captain of the team on Haikyuu.
Can confirm, didn't get it.
Yeah. But he's a great captain. Just of a volleyball of a boys high school volleyball team. But I think a lot of those traits translate really well to a ship, to ship life.
Devil May Cry 91's got you.
Thank you. I feel like this is the second time I've had to thank him for having my back.
My
Daichi is the
num-
best.
My number two had to get a good Magic the Gathering character in there, and that's a Johnny Goldmane, the great Leonin, inspiring leader, mentor of heroes, strength of the pride, wise counselor, great-hearted.
But
I'm
he's
just
a
reading
cat.
his epitaphs
But he's a
on
cat.
his Magic cards. Are you saying cats can't be good captains, Chris?
I'm saying cats don't like water.
We don't know. If
Or
Leonin
like that.
don't
That's like
water.
that's the that's at least the stereotype.
Then he would do a good job not crashing the boat. Got him.
It's like I don't want to get wet, so you better not mess up.
Yeah.
Touche. I got you now. Yeah.
Okay, Shanine, bring us home.
Okay. My last one is Holly from The Office.
Oh, good choice.
She has really great intuition which I feel is a bonus when you're out at sea. And also, if you put Michael Scott at the destination, she is 100% guaranteed to get there.
Mm-hmm. Good choice. Chris, what do you got?
Vincent from Final Fantasy VII. I don't know. He just has a look of kind of a captain of a ship, like a ragtag ship, but also he gets in he's always perched up on something, so he always has a view of what's going on around him. So he's like has really good awareness, and he's also into firearms because that's his thing. So definitely make a great captain for a pirate ship specifically. Definitely has to be a pirate ship.
My last one, Spider-Man himself, Peter Parker. So, whereas I imagine Hermione and Ajani would be a bit more of the like behind the wheel, working the maps, those kinds of things. Peter Parker would be the captain that's swinging around, fixing everything that's broken. Everything would be broken, but you would get there. And kind of like Shanine's thing with Dory, the real thing is the adventure. Like, chaos going to ensue? Most definitely. But we're all going to get there. Might be more webs in the end holding the ship together, but we're going to get there.
It's like pretty much he's the one that's like, because of his skill set, we could have a crew of the minimal knowledge possible to run this ship because we have someone that can instantaneously repair it and keep it going.
Yeah, basically.
Free glue.
Yes. Listeners, let us know what characters you think would make great boat captains. And next week, you can join us for a top 3 that we will indeed be having. A certain someone forgot to talk to Tracy and get input from our guest for what we would like to do
So
as she joins us next week. Yes. So hopefully I will remember to do that. And we will have a top 3 with Tracy next week. And so we look forward to everyone joining us then. And so great episode this week. As always, listeners, you can find us on our social media, OneGeek411. You can join our Discord server. You can shoot us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. Check out our Redbubble store, watch live on Twitch, and find the videos on YouTube. You can rate, subscribe wherever it is you listen to podcasts, and check out our website, onegeek411.com. You can also find us on our personal social medias. Mine is Humar Whittle.
I'm the Hoot and Howl on Twitter and Hoot and Howl Tales, TALES, on Instagram.
And I'm Not So Foreign.
And I know I have a question for us for our post-show chat. So I hope y'all are ready. Until next week, I love you.
Wash your hands.
Read a book.